So here we have an API that allows us to retrieve a list of users, right? The next thing is like to be able to see is that if we can send data over, maybe post a user to the service. So to do that, let's go back to the user model. And in the user model, we already have a create user, right? And we'd like to be able to expose this as a RESTful endpoint. So then in the RESTful endpoint in the user service, we can create a post, right? A post that's going to listen for an incoming post to that URL, and instead of find all users, we're going to call a function called create user, and it's going to be declared over here. So it says function create user. This is request response. Remember, what services do, they're at the edge of two worlds. Yes, they're parsing out stream information, stream data that is coming from the client, and they're converting it into an object world. In this case, it's JavaScript. Yes, same thing like our model. Our models also sit at the edge of two worlds, right? At the edge of the JavaScript, JSON data. Running on a server, running on a CPU, and converting that into long-term storage to a data model. So we're kind of in the middle of these two things, right? So create user, we need to be able to, what we'd like to be able to do is call user model dot create user, and we need a user object to pass in there, right? We need a user object. We don't have a user object. The user will be sent over, presumably as a JSON object in the body of the request. So we need to parse that out. Okay? So to parse it out, it'll be something like var user from in the request. In the request, there'll be the body of the HTTP request is in a variable called body, right? The actual body of the HTTP, it will parse it out. In Java, we use the annotation request body, right? And that invoked the parsing of the body. Here's a little bit different. Okay? We actually have to install a library that knows how to parse stuff from the body. Right? That doesn't come for free in Node.js. Instead, we need to install a particular library that knows how to parse things from the body. I mean, because there's so many things that you can pass in HTTP, it makes no sense to have any particular parser, right? You can pass an image, you can send a PDF, you can upload whatever you want. Right? In this case, it's JSON. Right? In this case, it's JSON. So to do that, let's see. I don't believe we installed it. Let me see if we had it in package JSON. We have not. We have not installed a body parser. So let's do that. Let's install a package that knows how to parse JSON data, right? So to do that, we're going to use npm. This is all documented in the Express JS documentation, and I welcome you to invite you to take a look at that. If you look at body parser, there it is, body parser. So if you find body parser in here, it'll actually tell you how to configure it. There it is, the body parser. So I'm going to just install the library. So npm install body parser. Don't forget the -- save. Otherwise, it'll work locally, but it won't work remotely. All right. So if we do that, it's going to declare that as a dependency. There it is. Body parser has been declared as a dependency. We need to configure it because body parser, there could be a whole bunch of things that we can parse from the body. Right? In this particular case, we want to parse JSON. Right? We could be passing XML. Then I would need to know how to parse XML. Right? Here we specifically want to parse JSON. So body parser, to configure it, we'll need to require it. Right? So from the server's point of view, at the server level, server, I will need to require. I think I did already. Okay, I'm requiring body parser. There it is. And I've already configured and initialized the fact that I want to parse JSON from the body. All right, so I've done that already. So from the service, hopefully this is enough, right? At the body there, I have a JSON that has been passed along. Before we do a create user, let's just echo the data that I'm sending over. All right, let's echo. I'm just going to say response send back whatever it parsed from the body. Okay, just echo it back. to see if this even works before we try to insert it in the database. So there's no way for me to generate a post from the browser. We need a tool such as Postman, right, that we've used earlier. So let's try it out. Let's bring up Postman. Maybe. And from Postman, we'll be able to send a post with a user. I think I might already have. I was playing around with movies. Let me create a brand new one here. And I'm going to do API user. I'm going to be posting. So it'll be a post. And let's see, the body, Terminator, headers. I am sending the fact that I'm sending a JSON. I need to set up the MIME type of what I'm sending. The body will be username. And this will be Charlie. And the password. Also Charlie. Okay. And let's see. Do we restart the server? I forget. I forget if we start the server. Terminal. Okay. It was down. Okay. Let's start the server. All right. It's listening. We're going to generate this post. So send. Did it echo? I'm sorry?
The localhost 8080 are using.
Oh, okay, sorry. So this is 4,000, right? Sending, and okay, it echoed back, right? So it sent us exactly what we sent. So we know the body parser is working. It's parsing it out. If you would have tried this without body, it would have come back as null. It says, no, I didn't know, I couldn't parse the body, right? And again, I'm sure some of you will be asking on Piazzas, why is my body null? Why is it not parsing out? It's either because you haven't installed body parser or configured it. So make sure you have that up and running. All right, so we're ready to start inserting stuff in the database. So let's go back, and instead of just echoing back what we sent, so let's stop that. Instead, we're going to say body user model create user. Okay? And create user, notice that create user is not returning anything. See that? It's not returning anything, which is not good. We should return something, right? We should return something. Remember, all these functions, what they return are promises, saying, "Hey, I'm busy. I'm working on it. Wait up. All right, I'll call you back when I'm done." And that's exactly what we're going to do. Is that we're going to wait for this create user to be done, and when it comes back, that create user is going to return a status information saying how many records were inserted, how many documents were inserted into the database, right? So this is status. And we're just going to say, respond.send back the status. Oops. Send. Okay? All right, so let's try it out. So let's restart the server. Now notice what I'm doing here. Every time I'm restarting the server, I'm doing it from the command line. You should not do that. Instead of starting this from the command line, and make sure if you come to office hours, I don't see you starting it from the command line. Instead, create a configuration, right? A run configuration, right? So that you can create a new Node.js configuration, and then you can point to the file. In this case, it's a server.js, right? So this is the same node space server.js where you're running from the command line. Right, but instead, it's a configuration file, all right? It's from a run configuration. What this allows you to do, let's call it server. What this allows you to do is run it from here, but also to debug it. Okay? It allows you to put breakpoints, right? So for instance, you can put a breakpoint on the server, so you can debug and step through the server code, right? So now you know you can debug it on the client, right? Using the console on the browser, and you can also debug on the server side. You can see the whole network connection all the way through the server, and you can step through this whole thing. All right, so I'm going to start it in debug mode, and so I'm going to send the post to Charlie because Charlie didn't make it to a database, did it? No, Charlie's not there, right? Charlie's not there. So let's send the post. So I'll send the post. Notice that I have a breakpoint on the server, and it's about to parse You can take a look at all the content. Look at the body. The body contains Charlie. See that? Right, so I'm about to insert. I can put a breakpoint also coming back from the database. Right? This is where, so I can see what the database status comes back as. Right? And so I can continue. Where is continue? Continue. There it is. And it comes back, and I can look at the status. The status says that there are no errors. It's, and we can say keep going. And that's when it'll be sent back, and the response, there it is. Actually return the actual object that was inserted. All right, so it's not a status. So this is the actual user that was inserted. Okay, the actual user that was inserted. All right, excellent. So we can debug this on the client and on the server. Make sense? All right, awesome. I think we have enough to get us started with maybe a registration page, right? So that we can register and try to log in. Let's take a look at that next.